You're not the exception. Teen pregnancy, addiction, and peer pressure, the Real Talk episode. You're listening to the Emotional Intelligence Developer Podcast. This one is not going to feel good. It is not supposed to. Every generation thinks they are the exception. Every generation finds out they are not. You have heard someone say it. Maybe you have said it yourself. That won't happen to me. I know what I'm doing. Other people get caught, not me. And then life happens anyway, because life does not care what you meant to do. It only responds to what you actually did. Let's start with something personal. When I was growing up, my mother put a VCR tape into the machine. An educational video. It showed the stages of puberty, what was happening to my body, what sex actually does, what it actually means. It was not comfortable. It was not exciting. It was real. And because it was real, it prepared me. That tape did more for me than 100 conversations that danced around the truth. Most young people today do not get that tape. They get a phone instead. And the phone does not teach. It performs. The trap of social media and peer pressure. Here is a fact worth sitting with. Meta, the company behind Instagram and Facebook, agreed to pay up to $17 billion to settle a case brought by dozens of states. The accusation was that the platform knowingly designed features to keep young people addicted while hiding what it knew about the harm being done. As part of the settlement, Meta now has to hide like counts, ban beauty filters, and let minors switch off the algorithm feeding them content designed to hook them. Let me repeat this. A company worth hundreds of billions of dollars had to be forced by law to stop exploiting the minds of children. If it takes a $17 billion penalty to get a tech giant to slow down, imagine what that same system was doing to you, for free, every single day you scrolled. You are not weak for being affected by this. You were targeted by design. Researchers looking at teenage pregnancy have found the same pattern. Health workers studying rising numbers among young girls pointed directly at social media and outside cultural influence sitting alongside peer pressure as reasons pregnancies are climbing. Adolescence already comes with hormonal changes and the pull to experiment. Add a feed that normalizes grown behavior for children who are not grown, and you get a generation making adult decisions with a brain that is not finished being built. Biology does not negotiate. Let's talk plainly, because plainly is the only way this lands. If you have unprotected sex, you can fall pregnant. Not might. Can. It does not matter how special you think your situation is, how much you trust the person, or how many times it worked out before. Biology is not impressed by confidence. It responds to what happened in that moment, not what you hoped would happen. And it is not only pregnancy. Globally, hundreds of thousands of new HIV infections happen in young people aged 10 to 24 every year, and more than half of new sexually transmitted infections show up in adolescents and young adults. These are not stories about someone else. These are the odds you are playing with every time you convince yourself that this one time does not count. You are not ready. And that is not an insult. It is biology talking, not your worth. Growth is not something you fake your way past. You do not get to skip the stages just because you feel grown. Feeling grown and being ready are two completely different things, and the gap between them is where most of this damage happens. Alcohol and drugs, the brain you are gambling with. Here is something most people never get told straight. The part of your brain responsible for impulse control, for weighing consequences before you act, is one of the last parts to finish developing. It is not done until around age 25. Meanwhile, the part of your brain that chases reward and pleasure matures years earlier. That mismatch is not an excuse. It is the reason risky choices feel bigger and consequences feel smaller than they actually are, right when you are least equipped to judge that gap correctly. Underage drinking has not disappeared. Recent national data still shows roughly 4 out of 10 12th graders drinking in the past year, and binge drinking rates among teens have barely moved even as overall numbers have dropped. Starting early is not a small thing either. Drinking before age 15 makes you far more likely to struggle with dependence later, because you are shaping a brain that is still under construction. Drug use tells a similar story with a sharper edge. Illicit drug use among older teens has actually fallen a lot over the past 2 decades. But teen overdose deaths have risen sharply in recent years, driven mainly by counterfeit pills laced with fentanyl, often bought through the same social platforms you use every day. Less experimentation, higher stakes. One pill once can be the last decision you ever make. Stealing. Lying to your parents. Ignoring the people who have lived longer than you. These are not small rebellions. They are rehearsals for a life you do not actually want. The system that does not teach you does not forgive you either. I will tell you something honestly, because this message has to hurt to be useful. If I had lived in America under a system with a 3 strikes rule, where a third offense can mean life-changing consequences regardless of who you are, I would likely be in jail today. Not because I am a bad person. Because a system that does not invest in developing the emotional intelligence of its youth is a system that is designed to catch you later, one way or another. It will not stop you before the fall. It will only judge you after it. That is the whole reason Emotional Intelligence Developer exists. Not to lecture you. To help you see the crossroads before you are standing in the middle of it with no way back. To help you build the ability to say no to things you are not ready for, to recognize what you should not do, and to understand that proving you are growing does not mean proving you can do grown things early. It means proving you can handle yourself with wisdom while you wait for the right time. The world can support you. The world can also destroy you. Which one happens depends on what you develop in yourself before it decides for you. I know the pressures you face today are not ones I can fully see. I am not in your circle. I do not see what happens in your group chats, at your parties, in the moments where everyone is watching to see if you will do it too. That is real, and I will not pretend otherwise. But not seeing your exact pressure does not change this truth. Bad things are still bad, no matter how normal they look in the moment. Wrong timing is still wrong, no matter how ready you feel. And you protecting yourself is still your responsibility, no matter who is around you when the decision has to be made. Be unique. Not because it sounds nice, but because the herd is currently walking toward statistics that are not in your favor. Where this leaves you. None of this is about fear for the sake of fear. It is about respect. Respect for what your body can do before you are ready for the outcome. Respect for what a system does to people it never prepared. Respect for the version of you that is still being built, one choice at a time. Develop yourself now. Sit with the discomfort of hearing the truth instead of the comfort of hearing what feels good. The reward for that discipline does not show up today. It shows up in 5 years, in 10 years, when you are the person who did not become a statistic someone else has to explain. If you want tools to actually build this in yourself, the Emotional Intelligence Developer website has free well-being resources made exactly for this kind of moment. Not to shame you for where you are, to help you move somewhere better from here. This has been a special episode of the Emotional Intelligence Developer podcast. Continue with the series wherever you found this one, and share it with someone who needs to hear it straight, not softened. And remember, being the exception is not something you decide. It is something you build, one honest choice at a time.